agenda.
Well, you wanna do it or you want me to do it?
All right, I'll do it.
I'll
Make a
support
motion to
it.
approve the agenda as written.
Then I'll get the next one.
Check. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor with an aye? Aye. All opposed the same. All right, we have an agenda. Public comment. We have no public and we have no comment. So we'll close public comment. Move on to item number 3, new business, AAA, provider allocations.
Yes.
Ms. Laura.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
So this is the time of year in August when we take a look at the budget and what available funding is planned to be received for the next fiscal year. We also take into consideration conversation with our providers for the sort of the funding sources that may be increasing or decreasing, and ask for feedback about where they'd like their funds, how the grant expenditures and their experience has been going in this, what is the first year of the contract, to see if they want to maybe tweak something, like now's the time to do it. As you will see, there are additional funds anticipated, and it was, received by the state of Michigan as such, for home delivered meals. And then there were some tweaks made to specifically the Commission on Aging grants, based on those providers, their director's input. So we were overall able to, entertain some increases, which is wonderful. We also have a state budget that just passed, signed by the governor. We're expecting some more, but we don't have it in writing yet. So we're not able to include it in these initial allocations. So you'll see the note at the bottom that this is just the planned funding that we know so far. There's no special COVID funds. There's no other special project funding. It's just our base funding, basically, for next year. And we keep to the sort of the premise and the priorities as established in our planning document, that multi-year implementation plan, to focus on in-home services and focus on transportation and case management, those types of things. So that's all represented in the spreadsheet that's presented to you
But the
today.
in-home rice business, that dropped nice. I'm shocked by that.
Well, and it may not end up being that way later, but for now, that's, they really like the in-home program called homemaking. That's really where a lot of their demand is versus respite. So some of that provider input resulted in what looks like a decrease, but they also say we need to, where the demand is for the, for the service.
Reallocate it, yeah.
Mhm.
Is respite where someone comes in and they can leave? The caregiver can leave for a little while
That's correct.
and get some
Get
chores done and then come back, yeah.
Some break.
Yeah. Yes.
And then, so the home delivered meals, you got a little boost on that, another about 9,000.
Correct.
And that's going well, I think.
Absolutely. They, Amy just updated us during the advisory committee last week and stated they've started 2 more routes because they found drivers to commit to delivery of meals, and so they were able to pick up about 40 more people, and so now they're at like 150 home delivered meals participants.
Wow.
So
How many
they've-
drivers total?
I believe they have 8 now, because I think they took 5, brought on 1 early, so that was 6, and then just got 2 more. I believe they're up to 8. So
Are they all volunteers, the drivers?
they are volunteers, and they are stipend for their mileage. So,
Laura, with ours with St. Joseph County, I know last time was with the Transportation Authority, again, I'm on that board.
mhm.
Are we coordinating with Alan over there? I know last time we had some issues as far as getting the application back on time and whatnot. I mean, are we?
I think things are going much better. I mean, based on our assessment, which the board hasn't seen the assessment results yet, but they have a new finance sort of director
Yeah.
in place, Bridget.
Yeah.
Has been more formally involved. I feel like she was just initially as
Yeah.
consultant type thing,
Yeah.
but I feel like since she's taken the new position, she's really sort of embraced it better, and the
Uh-huh.
reports are submitted better and more timely.
Okay.
So,
But they get more money than Branch County, huh?
Well, St. Joe County in general does, based on their population,
Oh,
A
yes.
little better.
So it's like 58%.
Did you guys finally kick in
Of
that
the
stuff
total.
that you kicked in last month?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you kick in what you're supposed to kick in?
Tell me again?
Oh.
No, I didn't hear that. What was that? Moving on. No, looks good. Miss Laura, do you have anything, Steve?
I don't have anything, I'm just looking at the
You're just an
differentials.
innocent bystander in this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the differentials here.
Very good. Are we going to, what, you need action on this? Kind of recommend to the full board? Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
So this
Then I'll do
provides
that.
that initial direction, and then as Laura's made aware of additional funding, she'll come back with budget amendment stuff.
Okay.
And
So
we
we
will
just
have,
need to move this to the board for information.
Well, adoption.
for
'cause that-
action.
That provides us with, this is how much we're going to allocate in the new fiscal year,
And then they
given
put
the
new-
information we have at this time.
And then they put budgets together, we review the budgets, say, oh, yep, this makes sense, or no, we need you to revise this is not according to Hoyle, according
Yeah.
to how the awards and the contracts were initially awarded. So generally there shouldn't be any, because there's nothing hugely controversial in here, or, major shifts, so it should be
Be okay.
All right,
pretty.
I move to approve the provided allocations.
We have motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner, what is it, Lanius?
Lanius.
Commissioner Lanius. Commissioner Steve, Commissioner Lanius. Any further discussion? All in favor with an aye? Aye. Opposed the same? Motion carries. Cost allocation plan.
I'll let Teresa do all of this.
Yeah, so the cost allocation plan basically is just a formal document that indicates how we allocate costs. And we've made a few changes this year, which is why we have to update our cost allocation plan with our new copy machines now. The copy machine costs are all charged through indirect, where before they had to push their code in and all of that.
Yeah.
And we could track it by program. The new ones don't do that. They do other things and bring the cost down. But now that copy charges are charged through indirect. Same thing with a couple of other changes that we've made is just how we charge it off. And so this just formalizes what we are doing to make sure that we're in accordance with all of the grant rules and regulations.
How much is that
Which-
overall, the cost? What do we, is 100% that we're billing each area or each department, right?
100% of what?
You
Not
said,
following you.
so, it's cost allocation, you're billing each little department for
Yeah.
the services, administrative services.
Yes.
How much, you know how dollar-wise that is?
The indirect cost right now is 37%, I think. It's
Of
high.
our total budget? Is that what you're
It's-
saying?
It's 37% of, what is that 37% of? It's the salaries and wages. It's 37% of salaries and wages. Fringe. And we used to run a much lower indirect cost, but we moved the MERS underfunded liability, which is 400,000 and some change, into there. So that's what drives up the indirect cost. But
That's a
back-
part of that 37%?
it is.
Yeah, I would
So
assume that'd
back
be
in the day, what they did was they charged off that legacy cost to the programs based on the current people working in those programs. But because now we only have 16 people still working in the defined benefit plan, we can't charge it off anymore based on where people are working today,
Yeah.
because it doesn't hit all the programs. And a lot of the programs that had a lot of wages don't have any staff working in them anymore, so,
That makes
or
sense.
very few. So we had to move it into indirect, which is one of the changes that's made. And also with the new changes that the state has put in on how we have to track the new grants in environmental health, we had to change the allocation or the way we do that. We used to have an allocation that went from, and basically split 605 RU into drinking wells and septage, and we can't do that anymore because now we have to keep track of all of these other programs like campgrounds, body art. because they're separate grants now. So we had to change how we're doing that allocation, and now we have 605 will still be allocated in a spread, it just gets spread to more than just 2 programs, because Paul is now being, body art, he has to charge administrative time to that, the clerks have administrative time to that. Where before, that, like body art was all part of the 605 budget that stayed there, so, that was a change that was made in here.
Is there anything shocking in here besides, I mean, you got some red lined items out,
Just to show you the changes.
right?
But, I mean, this is just how we're doing business, and really it just, it puts it in writing.
Yeah,
And,
it's a
you know,
requirement for audit,
Yeah.
and for our budgets, that we have to say, you know, how do you do this? What's your policy say?
Yeah.
And this is what our policy says, and because we've made changes in how we're handling things,
You have to-
we have to change the policy.
It feels like you're essentially making it so that the costs are more specific to the program, that you can obviously then bill for the grants, right? Or you can actually go against the grants. Is what
Yeah.
I'm getting out of it, is that wrong?
No, I mean, the object is to charge as much of the grants as we can,
Right.
right? The question is, how do you fairly distribute it to the grants and meet all of the grant requirements? And
Yep.
that is what this spells out.
Gotcha.
You know, it says, oh, if we buy a chair for you, then what programs do you work? That's what programs are gonna get charged to the chair.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, you know, if you mail a letter, how does that letter get charged back to that grant?
Yep.
So it just spells out what we do to be in compliance, to make sure that we can charge the grants and not get crossed up with,
Yeah.
anything.
What's gonna be a hot topic in our next commissioner meeting? Cause we're gonna start billing a lot of departments, more than what we always have to help pay for the new sheriff's department. And departments aren't real happy right now, because we were just eating a lot of the cost.
Right.
Yeah, but
From
now-
the general fund?
Yeah, well, special funds, really. General fund, there's no sense really taking any cap out of that, but, special funds, we weren't always billing for everything we did for them, but that helped their departments. out.
Yeah, yeah.
So now they're gonna say, well, now we gotta start increasing our cost
Yeah.
to pay for what you guys are gonna be taking from us. It's funny that we're just taking taxpayers' money and moving from one place to another kind of thing.
Yep.
Well, if you wanna benchmark that, this would be the ideal organization to do that. Because, I mean, you guys are tracking printing too.
We were.
Which is the minutia of tracking, I would assume, right? I mean, if
Yeah.
you're tracking printing, that's pretty detailed.
You know, it was pretty detailed, and we found out we didn't have to do that anymore at the yearly audit conference, or accounting conference. And so we said, oh, this will save us so much time if we don't have to do that. And it also saved us expense too, because when we put in our new copy machines, it would have been an extra to have the equipment to track
To
by
track it,
print.
yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it does make sense, you know, if we get a grant for, you know, immunizations and, you know, and we're, you know, and there's $10,000 left in that immunization grant, and we're not charging that department for printing and for postage and all that stuff, we're leaving money on the table that we could use for other programs, so.
Right.
So yeah,
And, you know, some of these programs are very, very picky, and they come in to do audits, right?
yeah,
And, okay, how'd you pay for that chair?
yeah,
And if you can't prove to them that you did it in a way that makes sense, and didn't overcharge their program, even if it's 50 cents, they're gonna nail you on it.
yeah,
Well, I move that we approve the cost allocation plan amendment, I guess that's what it'd be.
We have a motion, yep.
I would second that.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor with an aye? Aye. Opposed, the same? All right, you have your change there. Moving on to item number 4, public comment.
Before you go to that,
Oh.
let's have a little discussion on the time of this meeting.
Okay,
Anybody have a problem with moving it to an earlier time, like 9 o'clock?
I would consult staff first. I mean, are you guys,
It would work for me,
Does it
Why do
work
we
for
choose
Teresa?
11?
because we used to do PPA in the morning, and then finance on the same day at 11. So finance, though, has moved to Wednesdays, I believe.
PPA
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Or,
PPA.
I keep
Yeah.
saying the wrong one. Yes. So we could most certainly move this earlier.
Does
in the
that work
morning.
for all of
I'm
you?
completely fine with that.
Laura, you're good with that too? I'm fine with it. Are you good with it? It's gonna get into your pickleball probably.
Yeah, I'll just adjust it. I mean, I did play this morning because, you know, we played at 11, but that's okay. I mean, let me not get involved in working people's lives. So,
I'm fine with it. I have about a 45-minute drive, so I can drop the kids off school and come here right afterwards, so it's fine with me. Does that work better for you?
Works better for me.
So you're talking about 9 AM?
Yep.
So can we do that here, or does that have to go to the full board? Because it's
do it here.
it's a change of the.
It's a change of
Tell them
the
bylaws.
schedule
Mm-hmm.
that includes the full board schedule, so I would say it would take it to the full board.
I don't, they're gonna
Yeah.
approve it.
Can we
That's
have
what you guys
so
want.
we have a motion
Yes.
to change the finance committee to the, what Wednesday, or what Monday is it? Is it the
I
fourth
think
month?
it's the
Third
third.
one.
Third
Monday.
Monday of the month at 9 AM.
Yep.
We have a second.
Yeah.
Commissioner Howard seconds. That's a resounding yeah. John.
Well, yeah.
Okay, good. It felt like there was more there, but
Well,
okay.
I got some others, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's only a 3-letter word.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
YEA, right?
Yep. All right. All in favor of the aye?
Aye.
All opposed the same.
Wait a minute.
Oh gosh.
Oh, no, because it's a Monday, right? This
Yeah.
is Mondays. All right.
Good.
Yeah.
So what's left?
So was that an
is
I then?
This is three.
That's an aye. Yes.
We got
Is-
three.
September 18th, October 16th, and November 20th. So there's 3 dates left. So 9/18, 10/16, 11/20.
Now, we've moved our 23rd board meeting to first of December 7th, is that, or December 14th, is that right?
The full board.
The December meeting is, for the full board, is December 14th, second
Or
Thursday.
wait a minute, what am I looking at here?
So we have no meeting
The
in
October.
October.
Okay.
Right, and so that meeting is November 9th.
That's what I had, I wanna make sure that's correct, because I'm flying back on the 8th,
Mhm.
so I don't have to be here on the 26th, so we're good.
Right,
Good shape.
yep.
Okay. Everything's kosher. Thank you for that. Any other commissioner comments for the betterment of the committee? Any else? You good? Okay, good.
I'm all right, I
Good,
guess.
you guys are good, everybody's good? Next meeting is September 18th
Most
9
likely
a.m.
at 9,
at
Don't be
9 AM, if it is approved by the full board.
yeah.
So, yeah, don't be late. All right,
Let's get with your Hillsdale guy, he's about the only one who can say anything about it.
yeah, I was gonna say, you might wanna talk to the chair before
Yeah,
Thursday.
It's your idea, so
Don't
he should
surprise
go
him.
with it. If he likes to hit his gas.
That's a novel thought.
All right.
We are adjourned. Do we need a motion for adjournment?
He's up if you do. I've done 2 and he's done 1.
Yeah, so yeah, we're keeping track here.
Yeah, do an adjournment.
Motion for adjournment.
Second.
No, you gotta do
Wait,
it.
you have.
Oh, you just did it.
No, I'm asking. That was a
Okay.
question
He's a
mark.
big guy.
That was a question mark.
All right, and I'll support whoever wanted to.
All right, make a
All in
motion for
favor?
adjournment.
All in favor of the aye? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Oh, look at that.